Hi, and welcome to the seventh installment, I believe, of the Mike and Travis Sports Podcast. I am Travis Alden.
And I'm Mike Masala. Today we're going to do a quick Red Sox vlog. We're trying to keep it around 25, maybe 30 minutes at the max. We're right outside in the backyard today. It's a beautiful day, right underneath the Tiki Hut. So we're getting it going. This is our first off-the-head installment. We have not prepared anything because we just decided we wanted to do this. So it's going to go right here. All right, Travis, what do you have on your mind?
Okay, so the Red Sox, they currently stand at 39 and 50. They have now passed the race in last place. So that's what we're looking forward to. As far as news, quick news right now, A.J. Pierzynski was just designated for assignment. And they brought up Christian Vasquez. He's a 23-year-old rookie. He played about maybe 20 games in Pawtucket this year. I don't even know. But he's going to be starting at catcher today and batting ninth tonight, so that's going to be an interesting Mike, what do you think about A.J. Pierzynski this year?
Pierzynski, a lot of people have said, especially Tony Maserati of the Sports Hub, that Pierzynski isn't a huge part of the problem. You got to look at it and say the catcher position is a little bit of the problem, at least, because if you look at the play, it significantly dropped off from last year's Saltalamacchia to this year's Pierzynski. You kind of expected it to be a little bit more power with Pierzynski, but the consistency just isn't there. It's something that I wish we had given Saltalamacchia that contract, and you kind of wish he was back here.
Yeah, and I just don't. Jared Carabas on Twitter, shout out to Jared Carabas, he tweeted out that the AL average for batting average, the average players in the AL for catchers was 253. A.J. Pierzynski's batting 252. So he's about an average about for the catcher, but the defense is just awful. I've never seen a catcher so slow to get up from the crouch position to throw a ball than A.J. Pierzynski. And I thought Jared Saltalamacchia was bad. Saltalamacchia couldn't even reach second base half the time. A.J. Pierzynski is either throwing it about in the outfield or not throwing it all because he can't get up. And as far as I know, Christian Vasquez has a pretty good arm, and that'll definitely help defensive purposes. You can get used to it. And it also doesn't help when your number one batting catcher can't catch your number one starter, because John Lester refuses to have A.J. Pierzynski catch for him. He likes having David Ross. And David Ross, no offense to David Ross, I like David Ross. He's not a good batter. And you know what? There's some games where David Ross will hit a home run, and that'll spark up a rally like they did a couple games ago, I believe. They were down 6-0, and they came back in the 7th inning, I believe. But you can't have A.J. Pierzynski out there. He's a defensive liability, and even at some points, he doesn't follow the Red Sox kind of batting persona, like Red Sox like to take pitches. A.J. Pierzynski's just first pitch, smart. And I just think that he hasn't really shown. I don't understand why he was designated for assignment. I don't see why they just didn't release him, or I think he has $3.2 million, so I can see why. But at the same time, he doesn't seem like a player that you would want to send down to Pawtucket because he's 36 years old, 34, 35 years old. It's kind of strange to see that. But yeah, other than that, I hope Christian Vasquez can really step in and do well because he's definitely our future catcher. We also have Blake Swihart, who's down in AA now, or he might have been called up now to AAA. But he's also looking really good too. So those two catchers right there, we have a pretty good idea of which one might be able to. And I think next year in spring training, we'll really decide which one's going to be our starting catcher.
Yep, and the All-Star lineups were just released, and so far the Red Sox have only had one player, and that's John Lester, added to that roster. What do you look at when you see Lester's season? What do you think?
Yeah, I blogged about this, I believe 2 days ago. I said John Lester, if it wasn't for the Boston Red Sox, and if he was on any decent offensive team, he'd be about 12-3. You can't blame half these on John Lester. I think his last 2 starts given up 0 runs, and he's only won 1 of those starts. That's when you know it's bad. When you can't score runs for your number one pitcher, it's bad. You don't want to think that your pitcher, you can't go. You don't want to go out there and put up 0 runs when your number one starters are dealing 8 innings and you guys can't do anything. We got lucky in the game against the Yankees that Mike Napoli just took that one bad ball by Tanaka. Tanaka's first bad pitch the entire game, and he took him yard. We can't rely on that every game. We can't rely on that one pitch to really push us through. We need to put up runs. And, it's not just John Lester; it's every pitcher. Jake Peavy is 1-7, and 6 of his losses you can say that were no run support at all. Dubron had to go into the bullpen because nobody was giving him run support. You have to show like the batters though it's not their fault that they're losing these games, and you can understand why they maybe move some pitchers out there, even thinking about trading away Jake Peavy for the Cardinals, the Braves, and the Angels for the options for right now. Excuse me, but other than that, John Lester, he's the only worthy player that I'd say besides maybe Koji Uehara. But Koji Uehara, out of all the bullpen guys, like in the he hasn't really got that many opportunities. It was like last year's Red Sox, and he was putting up these numbers. Yeah, he'd probably be an all-star, but you know, with the team right now, you can't put like a closer that's on a 39 and 52 team in the all-star games.
Yeah, Lester's had just a great year. Quite honestly, from pitching performance, he's hitting all of his locations for the most part. He's pretty good with each pitch in his arsenal. It's been a pretty decent year for him. Like you said, the only real thing is he doesn't get too much run support, which it sucks to see, and it sucks to be like a fan this year where they're coming off a World Series win and they're just underperforming, or maybe they're performing at the level that they should have been last year. But it's hard right now looking at the way he's pitching and how many losses he's occurred throughout the whole year.
Yeah, and other than that, like this team has just underperformed in general. Batting, pitching, you could even say at some point some of our pitchers are underperforming. Bullpen, we've had a couple of bullpen pitchers that haven't worked out. Andrew Mujica was apparently this bullpen, like this 7th inning, 8th inning guy we're going to bring in that was supposed to be good. He's not all right. Baden Hopp has showed signs of that he can be good. I think from like April, like June, he only gave it like 1 run, something like that. And Cody's doing his thing. Heslow it's been okay. Not really like back to his postseason. That's about it. Like we can't really say like our bullpen is like underachieved or like overachieved because like they've all no pitcher really besides like John Lester and Koji has looked like they've been the same. I mean, John Lackey at points has been about the pitcher he's been, but his numbers aren't showing it because either A, he hasn't pitched well some games, or the Red Sox have no run support, and you know it definitely does affect. And this Red Sox offense has been like record atrocious. I've never seen in my lifetime. I've never seen a Red Sox offense this bad.
It's been bad. The really big bright spot this year has been the emergence of Brock Holt. We've seen him play just about every position now. He's been well versed at everything. Great fielder. He's been on top 10 on SportsCenter like 4 times now already. Making great diving.
Some of them at positions he didn't even know how to play like beginning of this year.
Yeah, see, it's like he made diving catches. He made crazy catches against the wall, and the guy has been batting consistently. He's one of the few bright spots this year, and for somebody to come up with not really a huge name like Brock Holt, and he wasn't supposed to be this great player. He comes up and he's been tearing the ball. He's been great.
Mm-hmm. But you gotta think about this with Brock Holt too. He kind of reminds me of what Jose Iglesias did last year. A bigger sample, and what Pedro Riaco did a couple years. And you got to think about this. Is he going to be a long-term solution? And I don't think so. No, not a chance. And it kills me to say because I like the guy. I think he's a great player. He finally got his chance and he stepped up, but, you know, he's not the answer. Think about this. Middlebrooks got hurt and he came in. If Will Middlebrooks does not get hurt and Will Middlebrooks is putting up decent numbers, Brock Holt ain't playing. And you got to think about that. If Will Middlebrooks can put up like he did his rookie year, like 25 home runs and bat like 280. Like that's good. I'll take that for Will Middlebrooks for being a third baseman. But it's right now he's still on the DL, I believe. I think he's coming back soon. I think. I'm not 100% sure. He's not looking too bad, you know.
Yeah, it's been a struggle with everybody. Brock Holt, like I said, the really big emergence in Brock Holt this year has definitely shown some good signs of some improvement from him. All right, so right now we're going to get into a few comments. These ones, basically almost all of them have been made from my grandfather, Edmund Johnson, who has decided that he wants to dismantle the team, start from scratch. He says, trade John Lester, Buck Holt, Lackey, and anyone else they can get good prospects for and bring up their own prospects from Pawtucket. This team is not producing. Time to trade these guys to a contender. Include Ortiz if you are trading to an American League team. check out the new catcher, Christian Vasquez, tonight. Thank God A.J. Pierzynski is gone. Looks like Peavy is going to the Cardinals, and that Lackey will be traded after the All-Star break. So, break that down a little bit. Would you trade David Ortiz?
Would I trade David Ortiz? Yes.
I think, honestly, yes, I would too. I love the guy, don't get me wrong. He's been a hometown hero for Boston. But if you can find an AL team that is willing to pay somebody, willing to give us somebody for David Ortiz, I think you take that no matter what. He's getting up complaining about his contract every year for like the past 6 years now. It's just somebody we really don't need, and especially with this year basically at its end for the Red Sox hopes of making it to the playoffs, we just don't really need him, and we can get some prospects for him.
No, I know it's a little different in the MLB about blowing up a team like it is in like the NBA, and that's about it. But you got to think about this. David Ortiz, like I'm trying to keep my personal side out of this because I don't like David Ortiz at all. I really don't. But he's a player that you don't like think that he's going to be here for long term. You can't consider him like a long-term solution. We want to build a team that's going to perform. And I know he's only in DH, and you don't really have to worry about defensive liability and stuff like that. But what if there's some bat down there in Pawtucket or here that has not got the opportunity to play because David Ortiz is taking up that roster spot? And think about this: would you rather have a first baseman who can play first base when we need him, and when it goes to the NL we can swap to, or offensive liability where if we want to keep the bat in line, like let's we have Napoli or Middlebrooks DH next year if we don't have Ortiz. If Middlebrooks can play first base and Napoli can play DH, but if we have Middlebrooks has the hot bat and he's playing DH, we go to Nationally Park. What if Middlebrooks can play first? When we have two hot bats, we can switch them back and forth. Or we can have Middlebrooks play third. You have to think about these options where you'd rather have a player that can play first and maybe another position and DH to help out the lineup and we go to National Parks or like in depth roster. David Ortiz is just a DH and he doesn't do anything else. He just sits on the bench and just like whines and tells the scorekeeper that it's a hit. Blah, blah, blah.
So basically, yes, we both trade David Ortiz. Bless you, bud. But
thank you.
And it's just you have to do it. If somebody's willing to give you something for Ortiz, take the deal. No Red Sox fan's going to be heartbroken that David Ortiz is gone.
I argue with that. I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be heartbroken.
All right, no sane Red Sox fan.
Sane Red Sox fan. All right, and if you are a sane Red Sox fan, you believe it or not, you think you'd be upset over David Ortiz getting traded, then you need to reevaluate something about your Red Sox hopes because, would you rather have a team that's going 60 and 109 and 60 or 62 and 100, or would you have a team that goes 80, like let's say 85 and whatever else, and doesn't have David Ortiz? Pick one.
Yep. So the next two, we're going to clump them two together, Buchholz and Lackey. Just from my own perspective, I'd be willing to trade both of them. What about yourself?
I would trade Lackey. Buchholz, I don't think there's no value for Buchholz right now. I think what we could get for him if he was healthy would be good. But right now, I feel like he has no value. And I feel like if he does start pitching well, we would want him because he's not that old of a guy. He's only about 27, 28. I feel like he's still got a couple years left if he can find his stuff again. I would not trade him. John Lackey, think about this. He's not going to want to pitch next year for the league minimum. All right, and if a team is willing to give him a contract and we can trade him away, that would work.
Definitely. So we're going to do... 1 second. Hi, Mom.
We're busy.
So, sorry about that. So we have John Lester as the last one. John Lester is the only one I'll take that I will not trade. Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead. John Lester.
John Lester, yes. John Lester I would never trade ever in a million years. This is why. Because he's too valuable for the team. He's 9-7 on a team that's 39-52. Why the hell would you trade that away? I'm sorry. If he wins 9 games, think about this. John Lester has won almost 33% of our games. Actually, no. He's won almost about 20% of our games. That's pretty well. If you're a starting pitcher for a team and you're winning almost 20% of your 20% of their games, that's bad. Like, you need to stay on the team. Like, you're valuable to think. But you also got to think about this. Jason Marja was 3-7 when he got traded. And you know what? He could arguably was one of the best pitchers this year. And you know what? John Lester, the fact that he's won 9 games, you got to also think about this was his willingness to pitch and perform. He does not care what the team does. He has that never quit mentality.
Yeah, it's definitely something I'd be willing to ride out with John Lester. I can't wait to see him pitch more in the Red Sox uniform. That's really all I have to talk about right now. Anything else you need to talk about?
Let's see. I don't believe there's anything else. If you guys are wondering what prospects are left that we have down in Pawtucket, Mookie Betts got called up. He was another one that we think. We have Bryce Brents, who's been hurt for a while. He's one of those outfielders that we had down there. The thing is, we think every Red Sox personnel or anybody I've heard says we need power in the lineup. We really don't have any power down in Pawtucket. I'm going to be honest with you. There's nothing there. It's kind of bad. We have not planned at all for a power, but because this new baseball thing where they think it's like Red Sox, and we need to play technical, bunt, and take pitches, blah, 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 blah. We don't have a bat. We just go out there and hit the ball and make it like 400 feet for a home run. And that's what we need. We don't have that. We don't have that even that explosiveness half the time. Napoli is like the closest thing in Ortiz, but they're just like, we're going to strike out 3 times a game, and then when you do need us, maybe we'll show up. That's what's happening.
Yeah, basically the only really young guy, and he's really not even that young anymore if you look at it, who has the power potential is Middlebrooks. And if he's not healthy, he never will be healthy, and he's never going to be healthy ever, because that's what kind of player he is. He hasn't been healthy in 2 years, and he's going to continue to be on the DL quite frequently. And he's the only real young player with that power potential. There are other players that can hit for contact, and some people that can take pitches like Bogaerts, but there's really no power potential at all.
That's the last player I want to talk about right now is Xander Bogaerts. Xander Bogaerts, you know, he was my second favorite player coming into this year. Obviously, Pedroia's number 1. Everybody usually knows how much I love Pedroia. Xander Bogaerts, you got to think about this right now, okay? He says that moving to third base has not bothered him at all, and he says that nothing has changed about his way he goes to the plate, how he plays the game. He sucks at third base. All right, I'm sorry. It's not his batting. I could understand why. He just some games it just doesn't go away. The last couple of games he's lost his touch. But the fielding wise, he has like 8 errors this year at third base and like maybe 2 at shortstop. Why would you? I understand that Stephen Drew is a very good fielding shortstop, but when Xander Bogaerts came up into our system, what position did he play? So why is not our starting shortstop? Why do we go out and sign a guy for $10 million to literally bat 125 and strike out 25% of the time looking, 25% of the time swinging, and then the other time he like just either gets walked or he maybe gets a base hit? Why would you spend $25 million on that? I mean, not 25, $10 million on it. Like, I'm sorry, it does affect him. And he can say all he wants, it doesn't affect him. But when you're performing, and you were batting 301, I believe, before Drew came, that affects you. You were supposed to be the answer. They didn't sign Drew in the offseason because they were like, we have Xander Bogaerts, and we have Will Middlebrooks. But Will Middlebrooks is gone, so they're like freaking out, saying, oh my god, Rockholt's not a long-term solution. Let's go out and sign Stephen Drew and put Will to third base. No, don't do that. You don't take away a man's like position like that. Like, he was doing better than Stephen Drew was the year before Stephen Drew came to the Red Sox. The year Stephen Drew was at the Red Sox, and this year he's still batting better. And I think Bogaerts is like 4 for his last 50. Like that.
It's basically taking away all of his confidence. By the way, Drew's batting 131 right now.
So I was really close. I just guessed 125.
Yeah. So it's taking away from the kid's confidence and his ability to grow as a player and mature as a person. It's taking away that ability from him. They're basically saying, you're not good enough to play shortstop, go play third base, which isn't true at all because he's a way better shortstop than he's a third baseman. I feel like a lot of the time it's a lot of throwing errors, too, coming in from third base. Maybe he just can't throw. It's also a lot faster pace playing at third base than shortstop because the ball is usually coming on a line to you. So it's a hard position to play, quite honestly, from that point of view.
I call the hot corner for any reason.
Yeah, so you need to get that play shortstop. Get rid of Stephen Drew. I don't even care if you eat the whole contract. Trade him.
I can't just on this team. I don't like Steven Drew. I don't like the way the Boston media lives him up as like this. Oh, he's a nice guy. Well, can he play baseball? Oh, well, he's a nice guy. Does he play baseball though? Because he doesn't. He literally goes out there and sits there and just waits for the ball to go over the middle. If it doesn't go over the middle, he just walks back to the base, sits on the bench, goes out and maybe gets a ground ball and throws the ball. I don't like what Ben Cherington did here. And you know what? You can say all you want about David Ortiz and Steven Drew. They're nice guys. Blah, blah. We don't need nice guys. We need players that hit the ball and play hard and go out there and make us look like we're a team, like an actual baseball team. We have the worst record, or is our team worse than us right now? I don't even know.
No idea. Couldn't even tell you. I don't even know.
I'll look it up and I'll probably write something about this later, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I could literally write anything you want about the Red Sox. You guys want to give me ideas? You can hit me up on Facebook, Twitter, our Twitter page on Beantown Sports 5. But other than that, I think I'm good on certain players. I guess if you guys want a prediction for what's going to happen, I think that John Lackey and Jake are going to be gone I think JP will be gone before the All-Star game. If he's not, he'll definitely be gone before the trade deadline. I think John Lackey as well. That's what I think will happen, because I don't think that Cherington's going to trade David Ortiz. I think that Red Sox fans are really upset about this season, that they're not going to want to be like, oh, no, we lost David Ortiz, even though it's going to help out the team. Other than that, I think the Red Sox are maybe going to win another 32 games, 35 games maybe, and we're going to finish the season maybe with about 90 losses. Like, this is how it's looking now. I don't see any team that's going to – I don't see any light in this team at all that's even going to want to, like, do anything after the All-Star game.
All right, so on a note, the fact that was one of our sadder topics because of how the Red Sox have been this year. We will be doing a vlog tonight, hopefully around probably like 10:30, 11, about the Celtics. They just completed their trade today, so that will definitely be coming along. Me and Travis hopefully will be getting to do some more of these videos and vlogs as soon as the time comes. We're both working full time right now. So,
be prepared. About in 2 weeks, the Patriots have training camp. There'll be a lot of coverage. You'll see a lot from us. We hope so. Mike took his paid vacation for Patriots training camp week, so be prepared for Patriots vacation. You actually might get sick of us by the time training camp ends.
Definitely. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good one.